They're making our food out of people. Next thing, they'll be breeding us like cattle for food. You gotta tell them. You gotta tell them.
Promise, Tiger. I promise. I'll tell the exchange.
You tell everybody. Listen to me, Hatcher. You gotta tell them. Silent breed is people!
Record.
Yeah, we've started.
Hello. Welcome to
Welcome,
Queen's
welcome,
Dead.
welcome, bhai log.
We've got Mr. Gunty here as well.
Yeah, I'm.
Welcome back.
Hey, thanks, man. I was on a long trip. I was in
Welcome
the wasteland.
returns.
Welcome returns. Yeah.
My God. Anis Bazmi is welcome.
Okay, so I just saw Tenet. Did you guys see Tenet?
Yes,
Yeah,
I saw it
yeah,
on my
yeah.
birthday.
What do you guys think of it, Gunty?
Spectacularly mediocre.
Whoa.
Wow.
That's
Elaborate,
my
please.
words, exact words that you
No.
should put in the print. It is spectacular, and then after watching it 3 times, mediocre.
What do you think,
once
Sanjeet?
Yeah,
I don't know. The thing is, I watched Tenet in theater after like whatever 9 months. So I was most of all excited to watch it in
Yeah.
a theater in the first place.
yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So I didn't care actually how it was in the beginning. I watched it twice actually. 2 days back to back on 2 different shows. It was good. Like it's not as good as whatever Nolan has made before. To be honest, let's be like fair about all of this.
Yeah,
But there are like a lot of good. It's actually a dumb smart movie. So
yeah.
it's not pretentious, but it's good. Yeah.
Yeah. So I
I
thought
mean,
it
I
was...
didn't hate it also.
You didn't hate it?
No.
Okay. Because a lot of people are hating it, right?
No,
Yeah.
there's
I mean,
no
people are saying-
there's no hate to be had for that movie.
People are even saying like this is the movie that made them hate Nolan.
What made them?
Yeah,
hate
but
it?
that's because he's been like too indulgent with this film. That's it.
Yeah.
That too, even Tarantino's Once Upon a Time was hated, right? Even Irishman was hated.
But I think the extent to in this is a little bit more, especially on the internet. I mean, people are really... And I think he came out
Yeah.
with a bunch of interviews where he was championing the theater experience and,
Yeah.
trashing
Right.
stuff. And that made it worse, I think.
Yeah,
No. I think so. If you watch it anywhere else apart from theater, you're not going to like it. I
Yeah.
can guarantee it to you.
yeah.
Because
Ve-
the thing
ve-
is,
agree a
in
lot.
theater, in the film, there are like so many things that are happening that you like sort of like can't stop and think back actually. So
Yeah.
it's all about that present experience that you're having, like right at that moment,
Yeah,
and no sense of like thinking back at what just happened right now,
Yeah.
and you're moving ahead, you're moving forward. Otherwise, you lose a lot of details in it.
yeah. It is and he said it's meant for repeated viewing, which he shouldn't have said. It's more of a he's designed it for a very nice theater also.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think like it didn't feel so much like a Nolan movie as much as it did some Mission Impossible thing where it's a bunch of
Yeah.
set pieces and there's no like you don't pay attention to the story at least. I'm not saying
Yeah.
there's no story, but at least like you're enjoying the set pieces a little bit more than the actual concept of it, because I didn't keep up with the concept at all, and it was like every
Yeah.
single minute so many things are thrown at you through exposition. I mean, there's
Yeah,
one
yeah.
scene like towards the beginning. I mean, okay, the Dimple Kapadia scene is more or less fine, but then there's one table scene with Michael Caine, and I couldn't keep up with anything. It was just like every line it was something new. I was like, what?
Same.
Yeah.
Right. I agree with
And-
that. I think so. That's also more so because he doesn't write like really good dialogue also.
Yeah.
I think he made it very like slick dialogue, like cool sounding.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Even like the whole poeticism of the cinematic nature of it sounds, the dialogues sound very clunky.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, what were you saying,
I
Gunty?
don't know.
Yeah, but isn't Bond the same? Like, do you
Yeah, Bond is the
really
thing
care?
that this resembled the most, I think. I was constantly
Yeah,
thinking
yeah.
of Bond.
He was
Right.
going for Bond and more of that globe-trotting mission, like Mission Impossible,
Yeah.
Bond.
Right.
All these three guys, like what's his name? Kenneth Branagh, his wife,
Yeah.
Dimple Kapadia, Robert Pattinson, all of them are kind of like Bond villains in a sense. Not
Yeah.
Pattinson. Others are kind of like the Bond villain type of character. I mean, they talk that way. I mean, Kenneth Branagh, I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
He actually went full in
Yeah, I mean, I
on
don't.
that whole.
He felt little out of depth in this movie. I think Nolan in general, like it felt like some set pieces were, in that Mission Impossible, like the latest Mission Impossible style, kind of like force
Yeah.
fit into the narrative. Like
Yeah.
I didn't think it kind of flowed into it very seamlessly or anything.
What was that? The sailing scene, man. Like the race sailing scene. I don't even know what the
Yeah,
point
yeah,
of
yeah.
that was.
I don't know how it led up to that. It just happened.
Yeah.
And one scene, like it was so surprising. There was one, okay, this is spoilers. So, I mean, I don't know
Okay.
if there's any spoilers
I mean,
possible
yeah.
for this.
You can't spoil it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like just bunch of stuff happens. That's the synopsis. And
He gets
there's one scene-
hypothermia. Oh wow.
Yeah.
What does it do to the movie? Nothing it does.
Yeah. So there's one scene where like he's fighting himself, right? So like this corridor door opens and then this guy comes in wearing a full mask. Like suspiciously, even he has gloves and like all his skin tone is also covered, except for like eyes like this. And the main guy, John David Washington, fights him. And the first thing I thought is he's fighting himself, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
because it's like a Christopher Nolan movie, like what else do you even
Yeah.
expect at this point? And he played that for suspense. Like in the next scene, like okay, he removes his mask and Robert Pattinson sees it's like John David Washington, and I was like, I'm not surprised at this.
Yeah.
Me
Yeah.
neither.
It would have been surprising if it was like Matt Damon, like Interstellar.
Certainly, man. Yeah, the show's so-
It's like the first thing you expect is it's the same guy. Like I was thinking like why wouldn't Nolan like surprise you at that point? Like it seemed like very it's obvious,
Yeah.
no?
You know that is one reason why Dunkirk was I still feel his best movie, because you're not surprised by anything. He's not going to one up you in some way. He's not trying to outsmart you in some way. He's just trying to give you a story which is as exciting as possible and as suspenseful. And this has no suspense. This is like that. He had a twin in Prestige, and it was played as if like no, that's not really surprising. He looks like him. What the hell?
Yeah. I mean, like
Yeah.
Dunkirk, I think he was like trying to pull back from that, mind-bending thing that he's known for, and also
Yeah.
Dead Wives.
Yeah.
There's like just a plain narrative, and then okay, there is some concept, with that time running down with like that 1 week, 1 day, whatever.
Yeah, that was a brilliant concept, and that's it. It ended there. They didn't try to again like, oh wow, we're gonna do something
think-
new. They're all the same people.
I think what has happened is post Interstellar, like when he made Dunkirk, he made Dunkirk actually only and only for that whole experience kind of thing.
Yeah,
And actually, like
Yeah.
the biggest criticism for Tenet and Dunkirk has been like what there are like no characters, like no central, like even if there are like central characters, you don't sympathize with them.
Yeah,
or
they have
empathize
no
with them
like
or whatever.
personality. I mean, this is like the opposite extreme in this. It's like literally a guy named the protagonist.
yeah,
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. And he just went another level. He's like he's just telling you. He's just giving you so much in your face. You don't have to care about these characters. You're going only and only in for this experience.
Yeah.
Like he's literally telling you. He's not even giving that character a name. I mean, what else do you need to know about all of this?
Yeah.
Like, I
That's
don't
what
think
if
there's
you're not
he
you're gonna
actually purely
decide to watch
wanted
this
that
on
to
a
do that
laptop.
film
It's
for
not
set
gonna be
pieces.
good.
Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Oh no, I missed you. What you said? What did you say?
No, I was just saying that he did this film as like he mounted all of his techniques what he learned in Dunkirk and tried doing all of that here, and like mounted it on a different scale, employed all his his tropes, all his conceptual science
Yeah.
that he likes, and like he made like a big budget action film. It was described in one of the reviews as like Bond on acid. I think
Yeah.
that is pretty much it. Pretty much the film. While you're on drugs, you probably don't even care about the personality of those characters. I mean,
Yeah.
what is a better way to describe this?
Yeah.
I mean, there were some scenes with like just ridiculous dialogue though. I was just telling someone, like asking someone about this scene. Like towards the end, there's like Robert Pattinson is leaving, and he's like, I don't know
Right.
what is happening at this point, but he's just leaving the main guy, and he's like going leaving on a plane, and then he says a bunch of stuff like completely just like palindrome, like just random shit. It's like see you in the past, and then it's like past is present is back to the future. Blah blah blah. I'm like, what are you saying, bro?
The
I'll
future
tell you, I'll
is
tell
It's
you.
like
past.
next level ridiculous. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
easiest way to describe Tenet is like that. Its basic idea is of Terminator only. Like a future personality sends his past personality to help him.
But then the past personality is also sending to the future, and then they meet in the middle, and it crashes, and a plane crashes into building. Done. Tenet.
Every,
I'll
everything
tell you.
surrounds one car chase. Of all things, like
I'll
to
tell you
choose
one
from.
thing. I still don't understand that last sequence. Like, I don't know who those people are fighting actually.
I know. I don't understand anything.
I
Like 1 hour
understood
into it,
the
I think I was
first.
lost.
I phased out when they were all talking about that relationship between this guy, like why she's. I didn't understand why he's holding her
Exactly.
hostage. All
That
that.
is the Michael Caine scene. No, like that's when
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
explaining
yeah.
their relationship, and he's like, "There's a painting." And then the guy is selling a fake painting
He's
to the girl.
Shator.
Yeah, Sator.
Shator. No, it's Shator. From and that too through food. He's talking through food.
Yeah. It's so casual, like World War III, world is ending. Chill, guys.
He actually just purposefully put that lady's character. I forgot her character.
Elizabeth
Like name,
Debicki.
actress's name. Debicki. I think he just purposefully put that character just so that our lead protagonist has something to root for, or like work hard for something. I
Yeah.
think there's no other purpose to that. So I think he used all his things, and put it in like in the cheapest dynamics possible,
Yeah.
for that character.
Yeah.
So I
Actually,
don't
now
know.
that I think of it, there is no interpersonal relationship in this movie.
Nothing.
There's just characters in their own tale.
I mean, this is the most superficial, relationship that is built in this film. Like it was
Yeah.
100 times better in Inception when that character had to, actually go back and see his kids.
Because he had some personality, like he can like relate somewhat. But this guy, it's like I don't know,
Right.
and he's kind of like monotone most of the time also.
I think but I don't think so. He could have done he did whatever he could with that character. I don't know what he could have done.
Yeah.
Anything more.
Even
beyond
DiCaprio
that.
didn't even have a sense of humor in the whole movie in Inception, now that I think of it. And he still was more relatable.
He just did a lot of. I just squinted. I forgot this is audio.
A future video podcast.
Yeah.
Actually, no, that's too expensive. No, let's stay audio.
Nobody wants to see our faces. People
Yeah,
only want to see Karthik's face.
there's always a very bad disconnect between people's faces and their voices when you're listening to a podcast.
Yeah, some people sound like older or younger and all.
Yeah. Or they'll be like, that doesn't suit you.
Karthik
It's like,
sounds
what do I do
macho.
with my voice?
Machoist.
What?
Karthik?
Karthik sounds the most macho-esque.
Yo.
Yeah.
It's because of Blue Yeti. Shout out to Blue Yeti.
Oh,
Sponsor a podcast.
Yeah.
Blue Yeti, please sponsor.
Also, what is Anchor doing sponsoring its own podcast also? I want to ask.
I have no idea.
Dude, that's the whole Spotify scheme, right? They'll give you ads to tell you that, hey, we're going to remove these
But
ads.
you're uploading
We're
on
gonna keep
Anchor,
annoying you.
right? Like you're uploading
yeah.
on Anchor, right? It's like if you put YouTube video and in the beginning YouTube ad comes. Like it doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't it? Don't you get YouTube ads or like Google ads?
Google, yeah.
Hey, but come back.
So,
Okay,
yeah,
anyways, like
so-
so we're talking about sci-fi movies.
yeah.
So just
From,
three
like-
sci-fi movies that we all like, I guess, or
Okay.
Yeah.
just three we've picked in random. These aren't like top sci-fi movies of all time or anything. Just
No,
random
no,
picks.
not
Yeah,
top
these are
five.
not at all. Yeah. I don't think
Yes.
I'll go first. I don't think Time Bandit is the all-time best sci-fi movie, but
Yeah.
it is a start.
Cool. So what is your first pick?
Yeah.
Okay, my first pick is actually High Life. This is a Robert Pattinson movie. It's I think it's Claire Denis who
Claire Denis, right.
directed it, and she's known for these very if you've seen any of her movies. I saw like two of her movies before this, and I'd heard she's very like high concept and some like I saw the one that she was nominated for an Oscar for was Let the Sunshine In. And
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
then I
yeah.
went back and I've realized I've seen Shokala because it used to come in UTV World movies.
She made
So
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. This is not the Shokala that you're thinking of. This is not the
Yeah, yeah,
Johnny
yeah.
Depp
I thought
Shokala.
so.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. This is another Shokala, but it was a very slow, pretty nice movie. Very like slice of life. Loved it actually. Yeah, and Let the Sunshine is really a terrific movie. So High Life is a very it's not very high concept. Almost all the high concept stuff is in the background, which is great. And this is the kind of
Mm-hmm.
sci-fi movie that I like, where it's more about the characters than the concept itself, which is the reverse that Tenet did. But let's not get back to that. My next one is gonna be Dread, which is a like a really badass movie. It's got these amazing slow mo shots. It's a great action movie. It was directed by Pete Travis,
Or
and it's
or or
based on
Ghost
the
directed by Alex Garland.
what?
Ghost
What was
directed
this?
by Alex
Oh,
Garland.
Ghost directed. What? I didn't know this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like parts
Oh,
of
that's
it
a
were
screenplay.
directed
It's a
by.
screenplay.
No, no, he wrote it and he directed. He ghost directed because like the producers were like fed up of the original
Of Pete
director.
Travis.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
really? Wow. I guess
yeah.
that's how Alex Garden got his break. Like,
No, no, he
but
wasn't he always writing stuff before that.
okay.
Whatever, huh?
But I
You
really
continue.
liked. I've seen his like I've seen most of his screenplays have been like very British for some reason. Like all of them. Isn't he British? He is British, right?
He's British.
But
Is
his
this a
style
sequel
of
to Judge Dredd?
no, not
I think
exactly.
this is
It's
like a new take
as an
on the
independent
character.
one. Yeah, it's not
Okay.
really it's based on like a comic. So all of the stuff is already there. All the characters are there. The world is already there, and he's just like fighting new enemies. It's like another storyline, and it's definitely a movie that I mean, it's got a pretty good budget, so it has a really nice look to it.
Right.
But it has a very indie feel to it. The shots are very like very nicely composed and everything. There's Anthony Dot Mantle. Check out his podcast with Roger Deakins. There's
Oh.
a very nice scene where they do like whole slow mo shootout and everything. And there's like a production that they're doing for slow with like slow mo and stuff. It's a really cool scene. A lot of cool scenes, great plot, and Carl Urban is not used enough. He's getting back with the boys and stuff, but this was seriously the time that they should have used him, and they really like missed a chance. And yeah, like I love this movie. Have to check it out. You can find this on VOD. I found it on Voodoo, and I watched it there.
Bro, where do you
But
live?
okay, yes, okay. So I live in the US, so it might not be available for everyone else. I would suggest there is a sale going on Prime Video for it on in India as well as here. Like a lot of movies like this. So you can either buy it or imagine it. Just read the plot on Wikipedia and then imagine how the movie might be, and then you can become a
That's
filmmaker
the
after
best
that.
way.
So that's you've done half the gig.
Biswa approves of
Uh,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So my third movie is gonna be Eternal Sunshine of Spotless Mind, which is one of my favorite movies of all time, and it's pretty much like the best, like a master class in good direction, good writing, and good acting. Because none of them matched. Like the director had a completely different vision than the screenplay. The screenplay was way longer than was supposed to be, and the actors didn't like the dialogue that they had. So they all ad-libbed. Everything was documentary style kind of, but a lot of the stuff was planned by the director himself, Michel Gondry, who's like one of the most like the greatest guys right now. And I wish he got. Also check out his show Kidding, brilliant show. Eternal
It's on
Sunshine of the
Hotstar
Spotless
for
Mind
Indians.
is a short movie, surprisingly, and it does so much in in that time that it has that no other movie has ever been able to do. It's a great movie, and it's a very simple plot if you really think about it. It's like not really a spoiler, like it's in the trailer, but he has decided to get his girlfriend out of his mind in memories, and then in the middle of the movie he decided, I don't want that, and then he just goes back, and then it's a huge allegory of how like love is messy, and that is like that whole theme of love being messy is shown in a sci-fi way, and it's shown through almost every single character in the movie. Every single character in the movie is perfectly written, perfectly plays a role in the story. Brilliant, brilliant movie. Yeah, great screenplay. I mean, if you want to read the screenplay of this movie, read the screenplay. If you ever interested in reading screenplays, I don't think a lot of people are. But if you want like just a masterclass in writing a good screenplay, this is it. Like if you ever want to get into filmmaking. But that's it. Like all of these are very filmmaking-y kind of movies.
I mean,
Like,
more than that.
yeah,
These are conceptually sci-fi films, but they double up as
yeah,
other genre films as well, right?
yes, exactly. Yes, that's
I think
that's my sweet spot.
same. That works for me as well. Like I think so. Like what sci-fi has done, like it gives you a very in people's heads, it gives you a very certain kind of vision of what sci-fi actually looks like. But there's much more to sci-fi actually,
Yes,
and
yes,
only like a good few filmmakers have used sci-fi, in thematic sense of using, even Star Wars, even though it is like a
yeah.
opera type kind of
It's
movie.
not
How
sci-fi. Yeah,
it is sci-fi. I mean, it is
It is
fantasy
sci-fi,
no,
but
sci-fi.
it's
it isn't sci-fi. I
It
don't
is
think it's
sci-fi.
sci-fi.
Come
It's an
on.
adventure
Star
movie.
Wars.
Star Wars is
Like
a
it's the
sci-fi
name says
adventure
it.
fantasy movie.
But if you really look at it, there is nothing science about it. It is science fiction.
Okay, fine.
When you go back to Asimov, when you talk to Asimov and you say, hey man, what are you writing about? Hey, I'm writing about positronic brains, bro. And he'll be like, why are you writing that? I'm trying to tell a
My
story about a
God.
boy and his little dog on the moon. Bro, really? Okay. Like, good luck with that, bro. And then you
Okay,
just go
fine.
away and then find
Okay,
out
fine,
Asimov
fine,
is
fine.
the
You
biggest like
win.
sci-fi writer ever. Come on, man. Don't
No,
fight me on
all
that.
I'm trying to
Star
say
Wars
is
is an adventure movie. Interstellar was an adventure movie. There's not
no.
really that much of a science factor to it.
What are
I
you
mean,
saying?
not like a science factor. No, okay, not that
What?
science factor. Meaning that the story is affected by science. It's a good science fiction movie past the point of the second half. But
I mean,
the
so
story
that's
is
what it's
about a
come to, right?
man and his daughter.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah, a
it's come
father
to,
and his
right?
daughter.
All these sci-fi movies double up
Yeah,
as other genre movies, or like a very, or like a story that adapts the sci-fi genre into it, like it,
Yeah,
uses
yeah, yeah.
it in its DNA for storytelling. But sci-fi as a whole
yes,
does not really, you don't really see all those kind of like very sci-fi-ish films now. Like I don't know
yeah.
what would I
I
call like
still
a
think
very
Star Trek is
sci-fi-ish thing.
actually a sci-fi, more of a sci-fi movie than or a series than Star
Oh,
Wars,
definitely, yeah, right.
because it's about there is science affecting everything. I should take back what I said about Interstellar, but Nolan has designed it as an adventure movie. That's what it seems like one.
Hmm. Right,
But Star Trek definitely a lot more sci-fi than Star Wars.
right.
Although both of them are great, I'm not saying that there's
One's
anything
better
bad
than
with
the
them.
other.
It's just that science fiction has a separate definition, and yeah,
Hmm.
a lot like movie. I mean, like character movies and everything that makes up for any movie actually.
I
Yeah.
think I got into watching sci-fi movies in the more in the I'd not like to say like generic Hollywood sci-fi films, but like all those Schwarzenegger sci-fi movies. I don't even remember the names.
Total Recall.
Total
Oh
Recall, and
yes.
Sixth Day and stuff all of like that, and
Yeah.
even like
Yeah.
Demolition Man,
That's
Stallone's Demolition Man,
yes. Yes.
and
That's
Star Wars,
Stallone. Yeah.
which I still consider as a sci-fi film.
Even
Uh,
Judge Dredd was Stallone. Yeah.
yeah, Judge Dredd was Stallone. Right.
Yeah.
So I started watching with
Yeah.
those, but over time, I picked up a very different kind of. I started liking a different style of sci-fi that worked for me. Like for example, the films that I'm going to recommend are belong to one other, like can double up as horror films as well, right? And
Yes.
like the first film that I'll recommend is Invasion of Body Snatchers, the Donald Sutherland one,
Oh yeah.
1978 one, not the older one.
Hmm.
So
Which is not
this,
the original, right?
huh? No, no, no. The original one was like a 1954 film. I don't know, or a 1964 film.
Yeah.
It was directed by Don Siegel. So I don't know. I
Hmm.
haven't seen that, but Don Siegel is a very good director. So I don't know.
Who
Yeah,
also made the Beguiled, which is the original Beguiled, not the Sofia Coppola one.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, right. No, Don Siegel used to work with Clint Eastwood a lot, so he's made like a bunch of good films. And so Invasion of Body Snatchers, the one I'm talking is 1978 and was directed by Philip Kaufman. So it's actually a very,
Hmm.
I like this sort of, horror sci-fi blend where you actually can't really
Hmm.
reason a certain set of things. You know, things happen because they are meant to happen, really. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think a lot of people might associate Invasion of Body Snatchers with that one image of Donald Sutherland pointing at someone, and
Yeah.
but anyway. So the point being, this film is set in a very normal society, something which very absolutely normal. You don't expect anything abnormal to happen or something like that. And Donald Sutherland, it follows the story of Donald Sutherland's character, who like starts assuming that his friend is having like marital issues, and he starts behaving very weirdly and everything, and and then slowly people start getting to know there's this invisible enemy, this extraterrestrial thing that has landed on earth, and it's like getting into people, and people start becoming the that being's slave. So I don't want to tell anything more than that because it's a very good experience in my opinion, more than like
Yeah.
a story as a whole or whatever.
So it's pretty much the same story as the original one, right?
Right. Yeah, it's based
Yeah. Yeah.
actually
It
based
is.
on a novel, if I'm not wrong. Body
Yeah, and
Snatchers.
then the original one
Yeah.
was in that kind of 50s era where all the sci-fi movies started coming up, like Creature from the Black
Right.
Lagoon and
I think at
yeah,
that time they also remade Fritz Lang's M and stuff like that. So
yeah.
around that
So
time.
it's
Okay.
like this US they had this Cold War,
Right.
what do you call it? Like they were afraid of the Cold War happening. Yeah, the panic, Cold War paranoia, and then like all the sci-fi
Right.
movies got made as a result. And
Right,
yeah,
right,
Yeah.
right. But this one also has those elements of paranoia and everything because there's this guy. Because obviously there's a lot of allegory here, which I'd not like to discuss because I think so it's for the viewers to, discover themselves. But this is one of those films that I'll always recommend as a sci-fi film. And the next one which I'll recommend is Annihilation, which is directed by Alex Garland,
Oh.
who we just spoke about Dread. And this is his,
Yeah.
I think, his directorial. No, this was his second directorial film. The
Second
first
one.
one
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
Ex
after Ex
Machina, right?
Machina.
Yeah.
And this guy, for people who don't know, Alex Garland had been like writing screenplays for Danny Boyle. I don't know.
And novels.
And yeah, he wrote The Beach.
No, yeah, he wrote The Beach, but he also wrote one of my very good, like one of my favorite space films, which was recommended to me by Gunty, which was Sunshine.
Yes.
It's a
The,
brilliant film, but it's
yeah.
if you want to take it as a recommendation, that is also a recommendation. But Alex Garland has
Yeah.
been writing all these sci-fi films, novels, and all of those things, and I think it's been very recent, like in the last 4 5 years, that he got into directing sci-fi films. He made Ex Machina, and then he made Annihilation, and then he made a show called Devs. But anyway, right now I'll just talk about
Hmm.
Annihilation, and when I watched it, for me, it's in an ideal world, in an ideal case, its significance to cinematic literature should be as good as probably 2001. Because it's talking about a lot of things which 2001 also did in its own way. I'm not saying it's like a parallel copy or whatever, but Annihilation worked for me for a lot of things because it was trying to say a lot of things. It wasn't just sci-fi for the sake of sci-fi. It was like really
Yeah.
that sci-fi was in its DNA. So Annihilation, I'll just tell like the basic storyline. It's basically it follows the story of Natalie Portman's character who joins this you know this organization, American organization, where her husband also worked for that organization, and her husband is trapped in a certain area X, which has this shimmer, like this weird lights that are flashing, and weird things. So there are a lot of weird things that are
Yeah.
happening
It's
beyond that shimmer field.
this otherworldly place inside of our world.
Right. So all of this is happening on the earth, and it's goddamn brilliant. Like I don't know how to explain even better. Like I can't put it in words
Also,
because
the same plot for devs, by the way, if you think about it.
is it?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, because he's in his own
Yeah.
he's in his own world and everything, right?
Okay, maybe I don't know.
This guy, Ron Swanson. Also, Devs has Ron Swanson, so you should watch
Yeah.
Yeah.
that movie. You should
So
watch.
Annihilation works for me because and also Annihilation works for me because it is cosmic horror, which is not your usual
Yeah.
kind of horror. So cosmic horror, for people who don't know, is not very easy genre to do in film, because cosmic horror's inbred like definition is that there's nothing very tangible, right? And even in this case,
Yeah.
what happens is there's this force field around this area, which I just said, shimmer, and a lot of weird things
Yeah.
are happening, these mutations and all that. So like a lot of theories are that this being came from outer space, is trying to mutate on and start like a diverse living life on planet. So that's what I'm trying to say. It works sort of
Yeah.
like 2001, where that monolith appears amongst those apes, right? So
Yeah.
it's
And
sort of
then
it's
and
sort
then
of like that,
kickstarts
but it's not
evolution.
like very similar in storytelling wise. So this is my another recommendation.
Yeah.
My third recommendation is another cosmic horror film, which doubles up as a sci-fi film, is Color Out of Space, which stars our very own favorite Nicolas Cage in that whole that
Oh, the Oscar winning Nicolas Cage.
yeah, right.
Yeah. What's his famous line? I forgot.
Like,
Oh well.
you getting me?
Are you trying to imitate Face Off or like Con Air stuff?
Yeah. Oh well. Oh, that's just perfect.
Oh, you guys should. I don't know if people have seen Face Off, but like Face Off is one of my all-time favorite action movies of I've seen.
Yeah.
Face Off is like, hey, come on, and then, and then the voices switch, but like face.
With guns, gun fu, and doves flying. So it's one of
Yeah.
But anyway, coming back.
And their faces get switched.
Yeah, the face get off.
Coming back.
Yeah.
Color Out of Space. Also, all these three films have this one similar idea of a very unknown object that lands from space on land, and it causes a lot of trouble. So all these three films, which I just said, Invasion of Body Snatchers, Annihilation, and Color Out of Space, have this same kind of thing that happens to them. So, and for Annihilation and Color Out of Space, they're very H.P. Lovecraft kind of storytelling. And Color Out of Space is a direct adaptation of a Lovecraft story. I don't know which one, but I think
I went for some like movie quiz where there was some question about Color Out of Space, and then the plot of Color Out of Space is this alien comes to Earth who's what is it like? There's no color or something, right?
no, there's this pink color that spreads all around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This kind of thing, entity comes from outer space.
Yeah, it becomes very visually trippy kind of experience as a.
But
And
what is the catch? Like they can't see it or something, right?
No, so in all these three films, it's sort of like cosmic horror only. So you can't really give like this horror like a very tangible thing. It's the
Yeah,
same
there's no
thing as.
explanation to it. Why it's
There's no
there.
explanation to it, right?
Like,
Yeah, which I just said in the beginning also. There's no explanation. There's no person or no. It's just something that is in the air, basically, right?
Yeah.
You can't touch it. You can't feel it. But so there's this this pink light spreads all around this place. Nick Cage's family comes and settles in a very desolate place near like a river in like very jungle type place, and they start getting all these
But
experiences.
isn't the idea of the movie that they can't see this color?
No, they can see
No,
that
they
color.
can see the effects of the color. Yeah, they can see the
Yeah,
effects.
but they
it's
can't
giving.
see the actual thing, right?
And they start going
I
crazy
think-
by the time. I don't want to reveal the ending, but something happens which what Karthik just said. It's not exactly the same thing, but sort of like that happens later on. But yeah, I think these are my recommendations. I don't know where Color Out of Space is available, but Annihilation is available on Netflix. I don't know where Invasion of Body Snatchers is available. So if you are into illegal downloading, then you
Colorado
guys can
Space is
download.
on Sling in the US. It's there on Prime Video also. I see it in my Prime Video. It's there. Colorado
Probably.
Space is there here and in India.
So these are like my sci-fi film recommendations, but these are they can develop as like horror films as well. So they're all my favorite list
Yeah, I
movies
guess
all the
all
time.
of them are horrors. Yeah.
But just to talk about this thing, Annihilation,
Yeah.
I felt
Yeah.
like the same thing about that and Devs, which is like it was a super interesting concept, but around halfway it kind of lost me. Like, I don't know, like it. There were a lot of ideas that are like true original science fiction ideas, and that probably comes from the fact that this guy is a science fiction writer also. He writes novels and
Yeah.
everything. But then around like the halfway point, both like halfway through the series Devs and in Annihilation, it kind of like lost me. Like it became little like, I don't know, incoherent types.
Okay.
Like, okay, the concept was like really interesting in both, right? Like even in Devs, it's like, okay, this what is it? Like some software engineering company who's like doing something, and then one guy goes missing.
Yeah.
Similarly in Annihilation also, it's like
Yeah.
there's this thing called the Shimmer, and then they
Yeah.
enter that world, and then the weird things start happening. Till that point, it's okay. Like after that, I don't know. Like I couldn't really keep up with it in a sense.
I think what happens is Alex Garland isn't really making a very is making these sci-fi films as human pieces as well. So
Yeah.
he keeps that human psyche in mind while writing that whole story or like the screenplay or whatever. And what happens is, I mean, it's not a spoiler in any sense, but what happens is, what is human nature, right? Like it tends to be self-destructive in nature, and destruction is a part of it. So it tries to go from that whole sci-fi conceptual thing into that whole human nature kind of thing. Okay. So that is why I think it becomes a little incoherent in that sense, because it's talking about all these sci-fi ideas and all these thematic things and everything, but then it drives itself into that whole human. How would like humans react to all this that is happening around them, right? Humans are destructive in inherently destructive in nature, so it becomes sort of in that zone. That is why it probably doesn't really land cohesively for people, but it worked for me because he's not using, like that I just said before, like sci-fi is not a gimmick here, and like, or sci-fi or horror,
Yeah.
whatever. It's not a gimmick or anything. Like he's not doing it for like the for the sake of
Demands.
doing it, basically, right? So it works because of that for me.
Yeah.
But what about you? 3 films that you would like to recommend?
Okay, so like I'm not like big sci-fi like expert or anything. Like I've just seen movies that have that label of sci-fi, like you mentioned, right? Not pure sci-fi, because there's a whole lot of people who are into that kind of stuff, like who like all these movies like Transcendence and Lucy.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't mind that the movie isn't as good as like a great movie, but
Yeah.
they are
Right.
into like the sci-fi ideas and all. But I'm not into
Right.
it that much.
Me neither.
Yes. So like I have 3 picks. First pick I'd say is A Scanner Darkly, which
Oh,
is
okay.
a Richard
Linklater.
Linklater movie, which is based on the novel Scanner Darkly by Philip K. Dick, who's like one of the biggest science fiction writers.
Right, right.
Yeah.
I think he wrote Do Androids
Blade
Dream?
Runner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Blade
Do
Runner.
Androids Dream of Electric Sheep.
Yeah. So it's like this very dystopian kind of story, and it's taking place in the future. And also notably, it is like rotoscoped, which means that like the people acted, and then over what was shot, they drew animation, and so the whole movie is animated basically, but they also shot it.
Yeah.
So it stars Keanu Reeves, Robert Downey Jr., Woody Harrelson, Winona Ryder, all big names, and
What a cast.
directed by Richard Linklater.
Yeah.
And it is like this dystopian tale of like this war on drugs type of situation. And I mean,
Yeah.
I really like this movie. A lot of people find it a little confusing, but I mean, I didn't mind the confusing part of it because it was like scene to scene, it was very interesting. So even if you didn't
Yeah.
keep up with the whole movie,
Yeah, I don't think it mattered. Like the first time you see it, it doesn't
Yeah.
really matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter if you understand it. It's almost like he designed it as like one of those noir thrillers, but
Yeah.
is very like The Big Sleep or I guess even The Big Lebowski. But
Yeah.
they're
It,
all
like,
like yeah, it's a
what is
very
his name?
convoluted plot. With
What's the
Coen
Big
Brothers?
Sleep guy's name? Raymond Chandler.
Raymond Chandler, yeah.
So yeah, Raymond
Yeah.
Chandler is this guy who used to write all these novels, which
The
are
big-
these very sprawling narratives, and you can't keep up with what is happening.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is kind of in that style of like The Big Sleep or whatever. those kind of stories basically. So I mean, it starts off with this drug related plot, and then it goes in its own way. I mean, it's a little hard to keep up, but I mean, at the end you get this feeling of like a payoff kind of feeling. So I mean, I really like it, and I think it contains really good performances also, especially somebody like Robert Downey Jr. This is before he got into Iron Man and that whole universe. And I
This
think
was
it's one of his
just
best.
after his it's one of his his comeback movies. Yeah.
And it actually really fits his personality also. It's just like
Yeah.
this very fast talking kind of constantly saying all these one liners type of character. Unfortunately, somebody literally drew over it, so I don't think it's considered as one of his best performances, but it is.
It is.
I mean, Richard Linklater movie, and it's got a really good kind of mood also. Like the whole sci-fi kind of conspiratorial mood is there, which is
I
very
think if
enjoyable.
you ever get the DVD of this movie, there is a non-anime roto-animated version of this of the whole movie basically.
Oh.
So if you want, you can still watch. And I think it's just parts of it. I'm not sure.
But how would
about
that work though? Doesn't Keanu Reeves wear a suit that constantly changes color or something? Like constantly changes.
There are like scenes of it that don't make sense at all. It's like the one that they said which movie was supposed to be seen in black and white.
Parasite.
Yeah, in the DVD they said that there's a black and white version of it. That's the way you're supposed to watch the movie.
That's being done with a lot of movies now. It's like Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah, Mad Max Fury Road. Yeah, that's it. So, like, people just decide that, that's the best version to see it in.
Right.
Yeah.
But then I do think the animation is good though. Like it
works for the
definitely an
story.
improvement than Waking Life, which is Linklater's previous movie, also Rotoscope.
Right.
Yeah,
I think like he actually got to make it a little better in this. Like before it was kind of trial and error.
Yeah. This one works with the story because it's all about drugs and everything, so it makes total sense.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my first pick. Second pick is Brazil also by Terry Gilliam. We mentioned Time Bandits before. Again, very dystopian kind of science fiction movie.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a little difficult to describe the plot of Brazil, but it's kind of this.
I watched it thrice. I still don't remember the plot. I just watched it for like.
But Gunty at one point was a huge Terry Gilliam fan.
Yeah. How would you describe like the style of Terry Gilliam though? Like all these Brazil and Time Bandits.
They are spectacularly thoughtful. There's a lot of spectacular stuff, and they're very thoughtful. Like every single frame that he makes, he usually has a sense to it because he's an animator. He was the animator for Monty Python. Then he got into a lot of the skits and everything. He's one of the people in Spanish Inquisition. Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition. He's one of those dudes. And he has been doing really weird movies, and he sticks to it. If you ever want to see something really weird, then watch Fisher King.
Yeah, I've seen it.
It's a great movie. One of the best performances by Robin Williams. And literally all his movies, there is literally a style of lens and composition that's called the Gilliam-esque shot. And there is this, I think it's the 17 lens that he uses for almost everything, which is heavily used in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. And a lot of people were like after us the weekend the shot his album movie that was all like based out of Fear and Loathing Las Vegas. People like, oh wow, there's so many cinematic references in this. It's so deep.
Yeah.
And then you have a TikTok song. So
wow.
And then there's like but Terry Gilliam made such out there movies and with a good budget, and he really fought for those budgets to make them look as good as they did. So he didn't make any compromises ever in all of his movies, which was great. And that's why he gets such like movies that like live for so long. Especially the one
it's like this. Continue.
Especially the one he's talking about, which is probably like a sprawling epic that is supposed.
I'll just go and come in like 5-10 minutes, okay?
Yeah, cool. We'll continue.
Okay. No. No, we'll continue talking.
Should we continue?
No, no, I think he's gonna come back or something. I don't know.
Bro, give live commentary.
Yeah, I guess right now, right
We are
now
looking
Sanjit
at
has gone. His
curtains.
mom is here. There's a bunch of curtains. He has very big walls and big windows. Like it's
Wow, man.
shocking. Yeah, man. Like yeah, like if you can see in my window, there's like it's like one hole. It's like the it's like the one hole for making you feel like okay, there is an outside.
Yeah, like a
Yeah.
hobbit window.
Yeah, man. Oh, man. Hobbit holes. I'm all about Hobbit holes right now. I right now work at like a 12-hour shift, but it's only like 4 days a week and then 3 days a week. So I have to go around like with robots and stuff and read instructions. It's really boring. I have audiobooks. So I got an Audible subscription. Audible, please subscribe this. I mean, not subscribe, sorry. Please sponsor this podcast.
Yeah.
Um, Audible has these amazing audiobooks with sound effects and stuff for The Hobbit and for Lord of the Rings. So I listen to all of Hobbit and I have a rant
Yeah.
to do. I want to rant about the Hobbit, okay?
Who
Because
who narrates it though?
I'm not sure.
Because I
There's
know
some
Stephen Fry narrates Harry Potter and
yeah, yeah.
the whole series basically.
Yeah, he does. And even the old dude who plays Maester, not Aemon, Maester, the bad Maester, the guy who has like whores and stuff, who works for Cersei in Game of Thrones. That dude is the guy who he was this guy. He was one of the generals in Star Wars. Yeah,
Can't think of
he
the guy.
narrates the audiobook for Game of Thrones, like all of the books till Dance of Dragons. I think not till Dance of he passed away. I think during Dance of Dragons, or he's still alive, and I'm just like talking out of my ass. But still, like the Hobbit, the book. Okay, I've read the book. I read the book when I was very small. I reread the book in my high like in junior college, but I have a huge bone to pick with that book because you put an awesome dragon which has a great scene and you build the entire story around the dragon. I mean, you build
Smaug.
this Smaug.
The
I don't
desolation of
know.
Smaug.
Yeah. Oh man, don't get me started on the movies. There's like so much stuff. There's a guy who made like the cardinal cut of The Hobbit. If you ever want to watch it, he has cut out all the fluff, and there's just the story that's there in The Hobbit, which
Yeah.
is good in movie form, but it doesn't work in book form for some reason. Like it's
Right,
not a
right, yeah.
cinematic book. It's supposed to be it's a hardly like I don't know. It was like when I bought it, it was like 300 pages. That's it, and it was very big letters. So once you've like seen many movies and then you read that, you feel like this is not at all supposed to be adapted at all. It's
Right.
a maybe they made a right decision to make it into two movies. That would have been nice, but three movies doesn't make sense. They killed off the dragon from the because of some rando bard, man.
The
There's a
desolation
dude
of
who comes.
Smaug.
Man, that's like one scene. The rest of the movie is so useless. Like there's such useless fluff in that movie.
Bro, but what a name for a movie though. The desolation of Smaug.
You know what the desolation of Smaug was? The desolation was just one village that Smaug was it's the most laziest dragon. Okay, it just burns up one town. He's like, hey, I burned this town. Just be scared of me. And then he goes back into the cave. He never gets out. For 70 years, he never gets out. And then people don't believe only that there's a dragon in there. And then all the stories around the dragon are there. Then everything they tell. And then in one chapter, in 2 pages, they get this dragon killed off by some guy who, in one sentence, they explain that, oh yeah, this guy killed his family.
Wow.
Chalo, over. Done. That was the whole story. And the dragon died. And these guys found out that the dragon died outside the cave. They're like, oh yeah, we're waiting for the dragon. And these guys found out that he dies. And then they all go into a war for the treasure that's there.
Though that last Hobbit film was the one of the worst films that I have seen.
I was talking about the book. I love Tolkien, but like I think he just wanted to redo the screw up that he did with this book, and then he was like, "Oh no, this is too bad a book. I have to like make 3 books to make this one good." And he made 3 really amazing books to like just
Wow.
fix this mistake.
So Karthik,
And even the first chapter of Fellowship of the Ring, you get everything. So okay, so yeah, Karthik, go on.
That was a detour to top fantasy picks future episode.
Future episode is a teaser for all fantasy.
Yeah. So back to sci-fi.
Sci-fi.
So yeah, first two picks are Scanner Darkly and Brazil. Brazil is also worth mentioning, starring Jonathan Pryce, Robert De Niro in a cameo, Michael Palin, also from Monty Python. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know one fact about this movie, which is like when they were filming it, De Niro, who has just a very small cameo, I think he's in like 3 scenes, and he was asking for his when they were directing it, like he was asking for some character motivation and how to get into the skin of this character and so on, and then all of them got annoyed and they shortened his role. Yeah, this is a guy who drove around in a taxi for 3 months for a movie and went to Paris to get fat.
Beautiful.
Like, what is my character's motivation? And he's got literally like 3 or 4 lines in the movie. So yeah. That is one thing I know about Brazil. So those are my first 2 picks. Third pick is just a very weird pick. So it's just a movie I saw on HBO when I think maybe in like 6th or 7th standard, which is Twilight Zone the movie.
Oh, the Spielberg movie, right?
Spielberg was one of the directors. It's an anthology. It's basically just, if you know the Twilight Zone, it's like the original...
right.
Black Mirror.
Right.
Actually, when Black Mirror
why do we have
up,
to say that? Yeah.
I know. But originally, when Black Mirror came up, I was just thinking about how nobody even knows how this is inspired by Twilight Zone, which is literally done 60 years before, like in the 1950s.
1955, 54, 55. Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is not a very well received movie. It's not acclaimed at all. I mean, a lot of people hate it, mostly because the people who saw it at that time, which is 1983, had already seen the show. And this movie is basically 4 or 5 segments, which are exactly remakes of episodes of the show. But then I saw this movie first, and it's a sci-fi movie, and it's also horror, and it's kind of this eerie horror thing, but there's also proper horror scenes, like which are actually scary. So this movie is basically, it's an anthology, as I said. So it basically starts with this prologue, which is like this introduction to the movie, and it has Albert Brooks and Dan Aykroyd driving this car, and I will put like 10 seconds of it here, but be sure if you can check it out on YouTube, do check it out. It's very scary. It really scared me at that time. It's just like, it's almost like this cold open type of thing. It starts with that, and then it goes into like 4 different segments, and all have this kind of eerie horror type of feel to it. Just to describe one or two, one segment is called Nightmare at 20,000 Feet. Which if you search, I'm sure the first thing that will come up is the TV show episode, which got really famous. And it starred William Shatner, who is the original Captain Kirk from Star Trek.
Yeah.
And the whole thing goes like, this is a guy who is afraid of flying, and he's on a flight at midnight. And he's freaking out. Like, he's trying to take pills. He's like, his head is dizzying. And he looks out the window and he sees something is on the plane, on the wing of the plane. And he starts screaming. He tells people that there is something on the plane. Everybody just starts calming him down. They try to lock him up. All kinds of shit happens. And okay, won't spoil it for you.
No, don't tell.
Yes. I won't spoil it. You should watch it. I mean,
if you don't watch the SNL skit for this one.
Right. And it's referenced so many places. I mean, if you watch this, and if you watch like, Simpsons or Family Guy or anything of that sort, like BoJack Horseman, there you'll find references to it everywhere.
Yeah.
Right. So that is one segment. Second thing is there's something called Kick the Can. Again, very, very kind of weird, eerie horror type of thing. It's this old age home, which is a retirement home, to be precise. And there is one person who comes to the old age home, who's like a recurrent visitor. Whenever this guy comes, all the people in that old age home who can walk around or can, move around a little bit, they gather on this yard of the place, of the building, and they start doing something called kicking the can, which is like, I guess a thing in the US, which is like they literally just kick a can around. When they do that, something happens to them.
Wow.
This is the synopsis.
Don't tell us anything more.
Nice.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I won't say it.
Yeah.
So this is actually why I got really interested in this, because each of these were like some concept where it was like, oh, what is happening right now? Like, it's just like very mind-bending. It's like, okay, it's originally the TV show and all is just kind of ripped off. So, I mean, ideally you should be watching the TV show, but if like, watching a 50s black and white TV show is too much for you, you can always watch this. One segment is directed by Steven Spielberg. I believe it's the plane segment. I'm not sure actually. The other directors in this are John Landis, again,
John
big
Landis.
guy, George Miller, and Joe Dante. I mean, imagine this, like there's a movie out there with these 4 directors and nobody knows about this.
Yeah, most people don't know about it.
I guess all of them are very 80s kind of directors. Like literally all of their biggest hits in the 80s. So I guess
Right.
not a lot of people remember.
Yeah. I think most people were disappointed because it didn't live up to like, the original shows. Like those are kind of traditionalists who kind of rejected it.
Yeah, of course.
And also just to like give another tease, like the cold open opens like there's 2 guys on a road who are driving a car, and then they keep driving, and then they're kind of just messing around and they're listening to some song. I think it's Midnight Special. It's like this classic rock song, and then one guy says to the other guy, it's midnight, and one guy says to the other guy, do you want to see something scary? This is the beginning of the movie, okay? One guy says to the other guy, do you want to see something scary? It's like, yeah, sure. And then he says, no, but it's really scary though. And he's like, yeah, no, it's fine. And then something happens. I don't want to say what it is, but yeah, just watch it. Like, even if you don't watch the movie, just watch the first scene of it on YouTube. It's available. And also worth mentioning, it like the last scene, there's also it's almost like some TV show setup, like it turned into a movie. Like there's a cold open, and then there's 4 segments, and in the end there's another conclusion. Which the conclusion harks back to the cold open.
Cold open, right?
Yeah.
But
actually,
it's supposed to be in even there used to be shows like this in the 50s and everything. There used to be like compilations
Ram Gopal
of
Verma
different episodes.
made something similar to that.
Yes.
Darna Mana Hai.
Oh yeah, man.
And it was
That's
brilliant when I watched it. It's still, I think a lot of stories do hold up in it.
it was pretty scary. Yeah. When I first watched it, I still remember Vivek Oberoi's hollow eyes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
that was-
okay. If
Have
you
you
want
seen
to
that
watch
Saif
Darna
Ali
Mana
Khan
Hai,
and Bowman
yeah, just watch the Saif Ali Khan segment if
Irani.
you haven't seen it.
Right.
Oh, the smoking one? The no
Right.
smoking?
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
one
yeah.
and
That
that
was good,
one, I don't know
Creepy.
how much do you like the...
Stop.
Stop. Right. Oh God.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I've been terrified looking myself in the mirror after that.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah,
no
damn.
spoilers here as well. I don't know if it's a spoiler.
Yeah, so I mean, that is more of a horror anthology. Here
Right,
it kind of mixes sci-fi and horror. It's that sci-fi horror
Yeah,
genre,
yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
like
Right.
Annihilation also sci-fi horror, right, to an extent.
Right. I mean, Jordan Peele produced the remake of the show in 2019.
Of Twilight Zone,
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched
Yeah, it was on
2
CBS
episodes.
All Access.
Right. I watched
All of them are great, yeah.
I watched 2 episodes. I don't remember the names, but I think one was Nightmare at 30,000 Feet. So it was not as good as the original one. I've seen the original one,
No.
but it was okay. Like, it was a very okay type show. I mean,
Also, like, if you see the old shows, right, there is a very, very evident charisma from Rod Serling. Like, that dude can like smoke a cigarette.
So Rod Serling is the narrator of Twilight Zone. So at the beginning of each episode, he comes and smokes a cigarette and narrates like what is happening, and he gives a monologue just regarding like eerie things happening.
right. Isme Jordan Peele comes and does that.
Yeah, he doesn't smoke a vape or something. But it's not as, I mean, Jordan Peele is great. He's a genius and everything like that. But I don't know, he can't really pull off something like that. I'd say give John David Washington something like that. But yeah, because that's the kind of person that you need to show off a good show. half of the like my charm for watching those old, like I have not seen all of those Twilight Zone episodes and everything, but whenever I could,
That's a
like,
lot. That's a lot.
there's a way too many. So I only probably caught the late ones, and I mean I wasn't born in the 50s or in the US, so the ones I watch are all from like Hindi dubbed this things on Star Gold.
Yeah.
There were two of those, and that's it. And then after that, I saw on YouTube mostly, and that a very
Okay.
bad quality.
But Jordan
Right,
Peele,
right. I think all of it is available on YouTube, the old ones.
Yeah,
yeah,
all
yeah,
of
yeah,
them.
all of them.
Yeah, right now they have very good quality. Like they have put everything out, and you can check it out on YouTube. But very well worth watching because they are all based off of other literary works and everything. So a lot of the stories come from that. So that you can like really learn a lot, and they're very short, so you're not really losing much.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
So just to conclude, I just one concluding topic. Are there any good Indian sci-fi movies?
This thing Cargo. Last year it came out.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
starring
right. Vikrant Massey and Shweta Tripathi.
I forgot Shweta Tripathi. Yeah, that's a very good sci-fi movie. It's a very well built. That's the kind of sci-fi I like. The character.
I
sci-fi.
think
Perfect concept.
Aarti Kadam has been
Yeah.
like working towards like making like sci-fi films and everything. She made a short film.
Yeah.
What was that? Time Machine, right?
Yeah.
I don't remember the title.
Yeah, Time Machine.
Time Machine, right? Yeah,
I haven't seen it. Yeah.
It's good. It's
what
good
is
stuff.
it? It's like it's about a time machine, I presume, or it'll be. Or
I mean,
it's like a subversion. It's
the-
not about time. It's about space.
Wow. Just shut up. Just watch it. I think it's there on movie right now. I'm not sure if it's there right now, but it was when I watched it. I watched it on movie only. But her ideas are quite interesting. How she uses India as a cultural place and then adding that whole sci-fi genre to it.
Yeah, and she does it in a very mature way actually. None of that.
I'm not a fan
like
of
old,
Cargo. Nor did I
90s,
did I like Cargo as a film actually, to be honest. Because
Really?
I feel it shouldn't have been that long, which it was actually.
That's true. Yeah,
mean, I
it's a
liked it.
tad bit long.
Yeah. I mean, it's a short film idea.
Yeah, it's a little long. Yeah.
I can't recall anything else. I don't. Do you know anything sci-fi? I can't recall anything.
That's the
I'm
only
looking
one I can
up
think of
science fiction movies in India.
in India. I would say
Mr.
all
India.
of mythology is kind of, okay, not really. That's fantasy, but
24. Mr. India 2.0.
oh yeah, man.
Oh.
Okay, yeah. Now it's getting better. Okay, Robot
Ravan.
2.0.
Ravan. Action replay.
What?
Endiran.
Arey.
Drona 2008 film. Every other movie is just the name of the movie, but this one it says Drona brackets 2008 film.
Wow.
There's like, of course, there's going to be a lot of Telugu and Tamil movies that will be.
Weren't there like a couple of space Telugu films that came out, Tick 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 or something like that?
Yeah.
Right?
Tamil. That's Tamil.
Tamil. And I remember that Malayalam film 5.25 Android Kunjapan Android Kunjapan version to 5.25.
Yeah.
Something like that. I don't remember. What about that Karthik's favorite Raju Bhai's 9?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's my rating on 100 for that movie.
For people who don't know, Raju Bhai is Prithviraj Sukuraman and his film 9,
Sukumaran.
which came out in 2019.
Maran. Wow. Was it?
No, see, like that, it's not that great, but then the kind of, I think he did that movie just to showcase like the CGI aspect of it, which was good. Like you can't like blame the CGI, It's just the kind of plot and narrative it's a little cliche and that not that great. That's all.
You know what?
There's Prakash Raj in it. What?
Yeah. Prakash Raj is in.
You know what? I just found out.
Mamta Mohandas also.
Tiger Shroff's Flying Jet is also a sci-fi film. I watched Flying Jet.
Of course it is.
You know where does the climax take place in Flying Jet? Please guess.
Where? Kanpur?
Hey, please guess properly.
No, it would be
Mars.
It takes place on the
It must
moon.
be Golden Temple.
What the hell, Golden? You'll get lynched. Sorry, my friend.
Oh no, man. They'll send
Also a sci-fi movie from 2019. Guess what it is? Based Hindi language based on India's MOM mission.
Hey, Mission
Oh my
Mangal.
god, the Mongolian, yeah.
Oh
Mission
shit,
Mangal.
that's
Why is
actually a
this
sci-fi.
in science fiction films?
Hey,
in
because it's
India?
about a space
You know,
mission,
okay.
dude. Oh, okay,
man,
we've
don't.
got a space guy here.
It's a mission movie. It's like First Man.
We've got
It's
a
like,
space
But
guy.
isn't
You know,
isn't it
I
a
have-
space movie? Like it's not a sci-fi movie, right?
Yeah, it's a space movie. It's a biopic. It's not a okay. God, we went back. It's a throwback to our first podcast of biopics.
Biopic.
Man, I met the guy who was one of the project directors in of Mangalyan. He hates the movie.
Obviously, what did you expect, buddy?
What an expose!
Yeah, I texted him asking him like he was my like corresponding scientist for something, and I texted him, hey, did you see Mangalyam? Like what a horrible movie. That's all he said about that.
What did you ask Sunita Williams when you met her?
How was it like in space? Yeah.
Wow.
And she said it's just a job and everything. Even you can do it. I'm like, man, that's so insulting for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, even you can do it. Yeah, but yeah, like it's space is nice. Please don't insult it. Keep space clean.
It was a good episode, yeah. Too many
Recycle your
recommendations for
space.
people to watch.
Get out of my personal space. Yeah.
Where do astronauts go to drink? The space bar, bro. Thank you. That's the podcast. Good night.
Let's end there.
So let's end it. Like mic drop.
Yeah, let's just end it. Yeah. Start
Run
it.
away. Thank you. Good night. That's my time.
See you, buddies. Okay, episode khatam.
That's the end of the podcast. Just follow us on Instagram, on what do you call it?
Queen-
Spotify.
Spotify,
All of that.
Google
Jio
Podcast,
Cool.
Apple Podcast. We are not on Jio7. But anyway.
No, we are. I think it automatically posts on GS7 also. I think.
No,
Yeah?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Oh really?
No,
Okay.
no.
No?
Then we
Okay,
should try.
if Jio7 sponsors us, we'll post it on Jio7 as well. Okay.
Cool. So if you have any recommendations, message us on Instagram. Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
podcast. Thank you. Bye.
Not much is known about the main plot of the film.
Correct.
So do you want to...
But that was the point, no?
Yeah. So is that the reason why? Is there something special about the...
You've seen Inception.
Yeah.
You understood it.
Yes.
You liked it.
Yes.
Then you like Dilwale also.